Hey guys, BuildZoid here, and today we're going to be taking a look at some more 12th gen SP rating statistics, because Bullshooter, Surgman, Dagunzi, and QuickNew have gone ahead and binned 183 12900 KSs, just binning by SP rating, 28 12900 KFs, and 140 12900 Ks in 2022. And this is like previously they binned 276 12900 Ks and 294 12600 Ks. So yeah, we've got some interesting binning data to look at for 12th gen Intel CPUs. So first of all, let's take a look at the 12900K data because well, there was and to be fair, like I said as much myself, basically I heard and that like 12900Ks were on average getting worse in terms of SP ratings. But based on this 2022 binning data from Bullshooter, Surgman, Dagunzi, and QuickNew, that is not the case. That is very much not the case because they binned 140 12900Ks and on average, you know, the overall SP rating, so the SP rating of the P cores and the E cores combined is 84 versus previously being 85, which, you know, like, yes, that is slightly lower, but that is not significant. Like, I would not consider that a significant margin of, oh, the CPUs are now very consistently worse. And also, once we look at the graphs, actually, for the P cores, they seem to actually be somewhat better. But we'll get to that. So anyway, the average P core is still 93 SP rating. Also, what's going on with the data here is that when they were binning the 12900Ks the first time around, for the initial check, like they were initially just checking the overall SP rating, and so they only checked the P core rating of 150 of the 276 CPUs. So that's what's going on with that is like they weren't initially checking the P core ratings, but anyway, yeah, so average P-core rating is still basically the same. The average E-core rating I didn't previously record because I don't care about E-cores, but right now it's about 68. You know, if you care about that waste of silicon, then there's some information about it for you. Best P-core was 107 this time around, whereas previously it was 110. You can't really read into this very much because, you know, we're talking about top 1% CPUs here. They're so rare that, you know, if you're talking on the scale of hundreds of CPUs getting binned, their quality is going to fluctuate like ridiculous, like by a ridiculous amount. So this isn't like I wouldn't read into this like, oh, you know, you're gonna get like the best 12900K you're gonna find right now is gonna be 3 points worse in SP rating. That's not that. It's just, you know, if you were testing say thousands of CPUs, then you would have enough statistics about the top 1% CPUs to say, you know, if there's an actual difference in the probability of getting 110 or getting 107. Out of 100 CPUs, like, you know, you're lucky to find one that's in this really high SP rating range. Anyways, the worst P cores found in 2022, or more like the worst P core found in 2022, was an 83, and there was literally just one of these CPUs. And they didn't find any 84s, which is kind of interesting. We'll see that on the graphs. So actually, let's take a look at the graphs. So this is the graph for 2021 binning data. And you can see it's very lopsided. We have an awful lot of like 86s and, you know, lots of 86s, lots of 87s, lots of 88s. So basically, if you were buying a 12900K back in 2021, you were probably going to get a pile of trash, is what you were going to get. Now, if we look at the 2022 binning data, there's a lot less trash. It's really weird. Like, you know, I've been hearing, oh, the SP rating has been getting worse, but this 2022 binning data of 140 CPUs says, actually, no, they're like, you know, you're more likely to get like a 95 now. You're more likely to get like you're more likely to get 95s, 94s, 96s, 93s, 92s, like all of these sort of middle SP ranges. These are far more frequent right now, at least based on this binning data. And so that makes me think that maybe Intel's silicon manufacturing process has been getting somewhat more consistent, and they're not desperately trying to, you know, get anything to be a 12900K. Yeah. Kind of wondering how the hell the average can be the same between these two. Because it is a mean average. I'm gonna go quickly check something. Because that is very suspicious. How did I do the average on these? It's, it is the same. Um, Give me a second. Oh, interesting. That is so weird. Like I am using the same math function in the Google spreadsheet, and yeah, the averages are the same. I am wait, yeah. So that's fun. These two very different shaped graphs have the same average. Anyway, yeah, but like now you're more likely to actually get a CPU near the average instead of, there being a lot of outliers. I do not know enough about statistics to make a statement on that. Anyway, moving on. So we've learned that I suck. We learned that very regularly here. So anyway, um, yeah. So honestly, like 12900Ks don't seem to actually be getting worse. If anything, they seem to be getting more consistent, and you're less likely to get terrible ones. Um, so that's interesting. Yeah, and the very worst, and actually, yeah, you saw the very worst, P core was 83, and that's all the way down at the bottom of the graph over here. Super unlikely that you're going to get one of those, but they do exist. So yeah, if you do get one of those, I feel bad for you, because those are really, really bad. Um, Anyway, moving on to the 12900KF data. Now, unfortunately, they only tested 28 12900KFs, and that basically means all of this information over here is, I'd say, not statistically significant. However, it is rather interesting that they did find 113 on a 12900KF, which is, I think, the highest SP rate. Yeah, this is just straight up the highest SP rating of any of the 12th gen CPUs I've seen binning statistics for from Bullshooter, Surgaman, Dagunzi, and QuakeMew. So that's rather interesting. Unfortunately, with only 28 CPUs, like this really makes it look like 12900KFs are on average just better than 12900Ks. And while that isn't impossible, the only way that would make sense is if there was like a crazy high defect rate on the iGPU for CPUs that are otherwise perfectly good. Right? Like that's the only way that makes sense. Is like if the iGPU fails on a lot of chips with good quality silicon, which is just like what? So, yeah, I'm really not sure what's going on with that. I'd say just because it's only 28 CPUs, we can't really draw any conclusions from this. Um, and it would be it would be really cool to have more data on this. Because if this is consistent, then actually what you want to do is not buy a 12900KS. You want a KF. Screw the iGPU. But yeah, as it is with only 28 samples, like this is unfortunately not very helpful. If anything, it's very misleading. Because, yeah, I don't know. And like the worst P core was still almost an 83 or an 84, right? Like that's an 86. So yeah, I wouldn't like it's interesting information. It's not useful information. If you're, planning to like bin CPUs or something. Unless you're willing to take a massive risk on, 12900 KFs actually being like on a large enough scale, 12900 KFs should be the same as 12900 Ks if I had to guess. I don't like it doesn't really make sense for them to be better. So, yeah. Anyway, but I don't know if that's the case. So, and there's not enough data in this to say anything like that. Now then, 12900 KSs. As far as I know, you can't compare the SP ratings of 12900 KS CPUs to the SP ratings of 12900K CPUs. And the reason for this is that 12900 KSs have their SP rating calculated at their 5.2 gigahertz all-core boost, rather than the 12900Ks, which have their SP rating calculated at, isn't it 4.9 gigahertz? I think it's 4.9 for their all-core boost. And the equation used for calculating SP ratings it doesn't account for frequency differences very well. As far as I know, it doesn't really deal with frequency differences. And so you can't compare 12900 KSs to 12900 Ks. It would be nice to have some actual proof of this, right? And by proof, I mean take like, I don't know, 20 12900 KSs and 12900 and then 20 12900 Ks with the same SP ratings, and then see which ones hit what frequencies. And the reason why you need to take quite a lot of CPUs is that even for a given SP rating, it tends to be a little bit of variance chip to chip. Like 285 SP ratings are not necessarily going to be exactly the same. Yeah. Anyway, so 12900 KSs, they're not directly comparable to 12900 Ks as far as I know, but even if they were, their average overall quality is higher. Their average P-core quality is a few points higher. Their E-core quality is way higher. Not that, that really matters because they're useless, but that's cool. The best P-core that they found in 183 CPUs was 106, and the worst P-core was 88. So the worst P-core you can get is still better than the worst 12900. Like the worst 12900 KS you can get is still better than the worst 12900K you can get, or even the worst 12900 KF you can get. And that is assuming that SP rating is even comparable to the SP ratings of the 12900K and 12900KF, which it very well may not be. But yeah, I don't have proof of that. And I'm not aware of any proof of that. But yeah, that would be really cool if somebody could just take like 10 12900 KSs, 10 12900 Ks, check the SP ratings, and then see how all of them overclock. Because on average, I think for any given SP rating, a 12900 KS should be better. By a, should just be better than the 12900K. At least as far as I know. Now, I also don't know how big the differences between SP ratings are in general. So again, like I can't say, unfortunately, like I don't have a lot of, or basically I have zero data on how the SP rating correlates to real world overclocking behavior. So while we can talk about like high SP ratings, especially on ambient, are definitely better. On Sub-Zero, it runs into some issues where there's quite a, it's not that uncommon to find high SP rating CPUs that don't scale properly with Sub-Zero temperatures. But yeah, for ambient, you want a high SP rating. If you have a high SP rating, you're pretty much guaranteed high clocks. How much higher? I don't know. It's just, I have no idea how much better it's going to be, but it will be better. So, yeah, I wish I had that data. Anyway, let's take a look at the P-core SP rating for 12900 KS's graph. And basically, you're going to get a lot of 95s. A lot of 95s. And then there's also a lot of 94s, 96s, 97s, 98s, 99s, 100s. And you're pretty unlikely to get anything down in this range. So that's cool. Though I bet if I bought a 12900 KS, it would suck. I bought an 8086K, right, which was that special edition anniversary Intel CPU, and that was supposed to be better quality than an 8700K on average. Mine is terrible. Mine is actually terrible. So that's great. So like, yeah. And the 12900KS is also way more expensive than the 8086K was, so it's kind of that. So I'm not going to be buying one of these, unfortunately. Or fortunately, depending on how you look at the allocation of resources here at AHOC. But yeah, I'm not getting a 12900KS because if I bought one, I bet you I'd get something down in this range because that's just what happens when I buy expensive CPUs. Um, like, I buy cheap CPUs, they're amazing. Like, I think I found a really, really great FX 6350 yesterday, but I buy anything modern and it's garbage. I have no idea why. Um, anyway, but yeah, so based on this, like, if you're into competitive overclocking, the 12900KS pretty much greatly reduces the probability of you getting something like, because even if we look at the 2022 statistics, yeah, the 12900KS greatly reduces the probability of getting something down in, this range. It's still pretty likely that you're gonna get like a 95. And again, as far as I know, a 95 SP rating 12900KS should be better than a 95 SP rating 12900K. And I'd be willing to believe that because my 12900K isn't doing 5.2 all core for most workloads without an extreme amount of cooling. And my 12900K is what is it? Man, I need to go check my video. Why did I not write this down? What an absolute idiot I am. Isn't it a 92? I'm pretty sure I have a 92, because I said it was slightly below average. Yeah, so I have a 92. And my 92 SP rating, 12900K, is not doing 5.2 all core for the vast majority of workloads. Like, it struggles to do 5.2 all core in Cinebench. So I refuse, like, based on that, I find it very hard to believe that a 12900KS with a 92 SP rating would be as bad as my 12900K. Or was it a 90? Even then, it's like, yeah, like, so, yeah, the 12900KS, if you're into competitive overclocking, is not completely stupid. As a gaming CPU, yeah, it's stupid. But if you want to avoid, this, wait, why does it do that? If you want to avoid this part of the 12900K silicon lottery, the 12900KS does a great job of that. Right? Because, yeah, like even 90s are very rare for a 12900KS. 91s, 92s, like these are all very, very rare. It kind of makes me wonder, like, does an 88 12900KS not do spec? Because based on my experience with my 12900K, it shouldn't do spec. So based on that alone, like, I don't really believe that, like Intel wouldn't be shipping CPUs that fail spec. Like, that's no way. Like, that is just, there's no way they're doing that. So, yeah. Anyway, that's it for this video. Big thank you, like massive thank you to Bullshooter, Sergman, Dagunzi, and QuickMew for the binning data, because this is stuff that, like, there's a lot of extreme overclockers that bin a lot of CPUs, but there are very, very few that share statistics this detailed. Yeah, so huge thank you to these guys for providing this information, because like this is, I think this is the first generation of CPUs where we have this much binning data publicly available. Admittedly, it is just SP ratings. We don't have like actual like max frequency for Cinebench data, but at least especially for ambient cooling, the SP ratings are actually very reliable. It's mostly liquid nitrogen where it's like you get high SP rating CPUs that don't behave properly. Yeah, so yeah, huge thank you to everybody who, helped, like, gathered this data and then also decided to share it, because yeah, like we've never had this kind of information before. Like, I'm super excited about this. Like, yeah, I really wish we had statistics like this for, older CPUs, because that would be really cool. Anyway, That is it for this video. So thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe, leave any comments, questions, suggestions down in the comment section below. If you'd like to support what I do here with actually hardcore overclocking, I have a Patreon. There's also the AHOC Teespring store where you can pick up shirts, stickers, posters, hoodies, you know, the usual YouTuber merch. Both page. Oh, and I also have a Bandcamp for my solo, like, industrial metal noise project. So, yeah, there's links to Patreon, Teespring, Bandcamp down in the description. If you'd like to check them out and, like, support the channel through any of them, that would be much appreciated. And that's it for the video. So thank you for watching, and goodbye.